Okay, case 7, we're up to the Murdaugh case. Alec. Oh, but it's not Alec. Sorry, it's his buddy. I was going to say Lafayette. Like from the Hamilton thing. But this is Russell Lafayette, and it's more like Lafayette. So Russell Lafayette is having his trial about all of what he did with the money at the Palmetto State Bank in South Cackalack. And his family ran the bank, so it's kind of like how he got to this position to do whatever. But it wasn't just him. Oh, excuse me, it's so late. And I am very, very relaxed. Okay, so I have to get my glasses for this because you guys, there's a lot of details here. So the deal was, the big things that came out here, you guys, here's what I said. The crazy things that came out. 1, Murdaugh's law firm's financial officer, well, I mean, this is not going to be, her name's Jeanette, right? Like I'm asking you again, right? Yeah, Janine Seckler. Yeah, she is Russell's cousin-in-law. Is that right? Sister-in-law by his wife's brother. But still, these people are all related. Murdaugh's CFO, sister-in-law to Russell Lafayette at the bank. Now, supposedly there was a big blowout between them on June 7th. June 7th. What was that? That was the day that Maggie and Paul were shot. So, here's what the argument was about. Alex had given this other attorney he worked with on a case, Chris Wilson of Bamberg, South Cackalack, he wanted him to write him 3 checks to total $792,000. And he wanted it in 3 checks between March and July of 2021 for his share of the legal fees on a case. And he wanted it structured that way because of possible liability. Liability of what, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Of that boat crash. And his CFO was asking him about, like, what is going on? Why don't we have this money? And I guess he was saying, well, it's coming in settlements, and it's coming differently because I'm trying to keep it. Also, maybe that will, like, do it this way. It's off the books, basically. Or I'm trying to give the money to my wife because he doesn't want it to be grabbed away by the beaches. So, but also, that was like one part. But then on another day, listen to this. So, prosecutors said that $315,000 were transferred to the firm of Chris Wilson. Okay, now I just told you that Chris Wilson was giving Alex his share of a lawsuit of $792,000. But when Murdaugh got $750,000 from the bank, he gave Chris Wilson $350,000, and then the other $4,000 went back to the bank. Okay, so Alex and Russell Lafayette are playing fast and loose with all this money. They were robbing Peter to pay Paul, as we say. So somehow, though, this Chris Wilson is somehow, he's paying Alex instead of giving him the money that they won from the lawsuit, I guess, all at once. Alex wants it in 3 separate checks, and he wants it made, I guess, personally to him instead of the law firm. And then with his bank loan later on in July, he's giving Chris Wilson back money, and then he's in the hole with the bank. He gets a loan from the bank and gives the bank back money to pay back for what he was in the hole for. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of like back and forth and wishy-washy. And what happens when back and forth, back and forth? What does it look like? Oh, it looks like a washing machine. Oh, like you're washing money. Oh, like money laundering? Or Alex and Russell and maybe Chris Wilson and God knows how many other people money laundering? Don't forget we have that drug deal issue thing going on too. Something is very wackadoodle. So, we know there was a big fight about money and how it was coming in and out with the CFO, who is also related, though, to Russell Lafayette. That's what I don't get. So does she know what's going on at the bank, too? Do these people, are they all getting worked up because something was coming to a head? And that night, Maggie and Paul were shot. The other thing we know is that the prosecutors have now changed the time of death to make it an hour earlier. So they're saying that when Alex arrived there and made the call about, oh my God, I found these people dead, they said Alex had already been there once before, earlier, and left. He did not report the deaths for an hour. Now, I don't know that forensics can be found to be exactly to an hour, and how do they know he came there, went, and came back? People, I am thinking they have a witness, and I am thinking it is cousin Eddie. I think Eddie was there. If you remember the last time we talked at the Merch House, I told you, people don't make lies out of nothing. People make lies out of something they already know and sort of twist it. And remember, there was this whole supposition that Eddie said that somehow that there was a groundskeeper there that Maggie had an affair with, and that the groundskeeper shot Maggie, and Paul saw that, and then the groundskeeper, somehow there was an exchange between him and Paul. Somehow this unnamed magical groundskeeper was at fault, and somehow Eddie Smith knew this because I forget why he would be there. Okay, so I think Eddie Smith was there. Just like Eddie Smith was going to shoot Alex, I think Eddie Smith was in on this whole let's kill Maggie. I still think Paul was peripheral damage. And I think that's why there's two guns, because I think Paul brought a gun, and I think he saw his mom shot, and he freaked out, and he dropped that gun he brought inside the house. Then they picked up that gun, whichever one, I believe, probably Eddie, somebody shot Paul. I think Maggie for sure was going down. Also, we know that they were taking out, Alex was taking out a loan, that $750,000 loan that he took out and gave part to Chris Wilson and then part paid back to the bank. I wonder, that was supposed to be, there was no, it did not go through. On the first day, one of the other relatives of the Lafayette, Norris, I believe his name was, he said this loan did not go through the normal procedure, and basically there's minimal paperwork, and it seemed to be the collateral was for work on the Edisto Beach House. Well, Maggie owned the Edisto Beach House. Now, the loan was received mid-July. Maggie was killed June 7th. So, when exactly was this loan applied for? And would Maggie have found out about that it was supposed to be for the beach? See what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of things that Alex needed to take care of with Maggie. And Maggie would have been a problem if she wasn't down with the whole money moving around business. And she seemed to have been wanting to divorce Alec. So if he was taking out $750,000 equity, even though I believe there's already a mortgage. So this was a second mortgage or a third. It was crazy. It was inappropriate, whatever it was. But let's just say, even if it was real, that was Maggie's property. And he was just taking out money against it left and right. If she was divorcing him, that would be very not cool. I believe it was even her name. He wasn't supposed to be doing that, but we know nothing stopped. Apparently, allegedly, nothing stopped Alec. Okay, my wine is just getting the best of me. So we will find out more. This is just the financial crimes for Russell Lafayette. So what I have found out so far is we're just finding out more about how this money is moving around in crazy circles, and I want to know more about Chris Wilson. And also, it seems like the fact that there was all this financial, like the walls seem to be closing in on the very night that these people, that there was a demise. Okay, 7. We're on to case 7. Raise a glass to Groundhog Day of Lori Vallow J. Table. Why Groundhog Day? Well, again, Lori seems to be incompetent, and we don't know for sure. There was a hearing. We don't know anything. It's all sealed. Always. And Scott Wright was interested. He had an interesting point on Crime Talk. He was pointing out that, like, and I believe in, like, the Letitia Stout would be a good recent example. We have heard about people's competency in open court. We hear about the tests. We hear about what the tests say. Are they competent? Are they not competent? It doesn't always have to be all closed. Something wackadoodle is going on with the Lori Daybell case. It's not just that she's incompetent. I think she's saying weird shit about her religion. And I think it's disturbing because everybody else, I think she's saying disturbing things about Mormonism. Personally, that's what I think she's doing. And I think she's trying to, somehow her crazy theories are doing something very damaging to the church. That this is my supposition, this is my allegation, this is all just my opinion, but the way they've got things closed down, and if you look at the stats in Fremont County, they're like 95, 98% Mormon. I don't know, I just think that there's a YouTuber called Elmom. Excuse me. I think it's called True Crime Unveiled, the Elmom. But this woman, I love her, and she did it like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, she did an episode where she talked about how, remember when Lori Vallow somehow got to the main lawyer at like the diocese? Well, this woman, she was a Mormon, she grew up in Utah. She's like, there's something weird because how did Lori get to talk? Like, that is not somebody you just talk to. You don't just get a phone call, whoever you are. There is something more going on to this, that she got so high up in the hierarchy to talk to the main guy lawyer. She said that was very odd, and I'm going to trust her. Something Lori is saying is disturbing, and they're all trying to keep it under wraps. Something is rotten in Rexburg or Denmark, whatever. And Chad wants his case again. He wants his case. He would like to start over again, sirs. He wants nothing to do with Lori. He wants this all, would like to separate. I guess, remember when Lori was in jail and she supposedly said to the person she was in jail with, like, well, we'll see what all this is worth. Well, Lori, apparently it's not worth that much because Chad is it looks like he's trying to take a powder. At least John Pryor for Chad is saying, cut your losses, boy. So he wants a severance again. Again, Groundhog Day. Lori's crazy. Chad wants to get away from Lori. And I believe we were here 6 months ago and maybe a year ago. Was it a year ago? I mean, seriously. It's the same thing round and round. Is this ever going to go to trial? We shall see. What I think is, I think something that Lori's doing is very disturbing to the hierarchy. She's doing something crazy, like not literally crazy, like something that is disturbing, and they want not to talk about it publicly. think it has to be something about religion, something that matters to all of them because they all want it kept quiet. The prosecution, the judge, and the lawyers. I mean, her lawyers, of course, but the prosecution usually wants everything out, and the judges aren't usually so like, shh, 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 shh. I'm telling you, we won't know for a long time, but mark my words. Lori's blabbing about something that she's not supposed to be talking about. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if he keeps going to the loony bin to shut her up. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if she was like saying, no, but the religion says this and I was told this and isn't that right? And people are like, goodbye, you're crazy. Don't talk about that. I don't know. Something's different. All right, so I will let you know what happens next with the I believe, I don't know. I don't think Lori's really crazy. I think she wanted to get her hair did. And I think she's saying crazy stuff and it makes it easier for everybody to put her away. I think she's malingering, personally. I think she should go to trial. I think she and Trad should go to trial together because it is the same case. Why do it twice? I know they're just going to do this. Or at least, I'm sorry. Lori's going to be like, what? He's going to do this. But, Chad, the babies were on your property in your ground. Sorry, dude. And your wife got, so you could get the girl. Yeah, you got problems, buddy. I think you're pretty much in it. I don't think you're getting out of this trouble. All right, so that was case 6. We have case 7? Are we 7, 8? George Wagner trial. All I have to tell you about that real quick. We're in the trial phase here. The prosecution has rested. That's it. It seems like they put Jake more on trial, no offense, and Billy. But George was there. We know George was there. And, if you watch the crime, you don't have to, actually do it to participate. You can be the getaway guy. You can be the knowledgeable guy. And then you can lie to police and say you don't know what's going on. He didn't tell anybody. You're guilty, just like they are. Sorry, George. Pike County Massacre, you're going down, George the 4th.